welcome to Sultry and Sacred, the art and science of pleasure, intimacy, and self-mastery. The space where passion meets purpose and pleasure becomes power.
Here, we unravel the mysteries of love, sex, and connection, blending soulful wisdom with raw, unapologetic truth.
Let's ignite your desires, awaken your essence, and embrace intimacy as the ultimate alchemy. Get ready to explore what's both sultry and sacred.
It's 2025 and people still believe some of the most wild things about sex. Like, Venus, did you know that there are still men out there who think that vagina gets loose from too much sex? I swear, the level of misinformation is astronomical.
Don't get me started, isn't it? You know what my personal favorite is? The myth that men are always in the mood for sex, like there's
Ooh,
some kind of walking, talking erection. They never get stressed.
no,
Have they met life?
no,
And also, have you met women?
I
Actually,
don't think
studies,
so.
right? Studies have actually shown that women think about sex way more than men do.
Ooh, I love that. I love that.
Fact.
Well, exactly. And listen, I may be half past that with all my period pains and everything, but I believe I still have 80% more knowledge than all of the internet about sex and the misinformation. So, today we are busting some of the worst sex myths out there, the ones that have made people insecure, clueless, or just really bad at sex. We're setting the record straight with facts, a little sass, and probably some serious eye rolling. You ready?
I'm so ready for this one. Honestly, this particular episode, if you don't listen to any other episode that we record, please listen to this one and please share this with all the women in your life.
Yes,
All the
yes.
women in your life and the men, actually. Let's set the record straight because when you realize the kind of myths that have been circulating and that we have been fed blindly and believed all these years, you'll wonder what, it'll be like crawling from under a rock, literally,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Are you ready to break some serious myths and change people's lives forever?
Let's
Cindy?
bust the myth.
Let's do it.
It's a full moon, and I believe this is the right energy for the full moon because basically we are releasing some of the shame again and the myth about sex. Yeah,
Let's
like
do
the
it.
moon.
Full moon in Leo. Let's roar. Okay. Are you ready for the first myth that we're going to bust?
Give it to me. Uh-huh.
Okay, so the first myth is it's the one that I'm truly boggled by. Men need and think about sex more than women do. What do you think of
Of
that
course.
one?
Of
Right?
course. Yeah,
It's always
definitely.
men more. Men is more this, men is more that. Men apparently are a walking, talking, breathing sex machine.
Yes, and this is the thing. I first heard about this when I was in high school. And I remember us girls sitting there in front of the boys while we were in biology class or something. And one of the girls said this, and I was like, oh my God. Yes, men think about sex every 2.5 minutes. So we counted, and we were like, oh my God, all of these men around us just thought about sex in all of this time and 45 minutes of the first lesson. That's crazy. And I'm sure, yes, they were high school boys, but I think that they were thinking about food and football as well. Like, how
Absolutely.
crazy is that? We
Absolutely.
talked about sex more than they did in class because.
But I want to talk about the danger of this myth because this myth has been used to control social dynamics for centuries. Because when you're raised in a society that tells you men think about sex more than women, that
Mm,
means that sex is some kind of privilege owed to men and that women don't really think about it, so therefore they don't need it. It's just the
yes.
men who need it, right? And therefore women's job is to give it to them.
Yep. Yes, and it's like we're serving because they're so the poor men, they think about sex all the time. How can they function? How can they think straight when
Right.
sex is all around their brain?
And the other myth that's associated with it is the whole blue ball myth.
Mm-hmm.
Men don't have sex when they want it, or when they don't orgasm when they need it, they're going to have blue balls. The amount of atrocities that have happened in the bedroom, honestly, is criminal because of this entitlement.
If
And
that's
also,
true, honestly, if that's true, then
it is.
basically, then the thing is that, if the case that they get blue balls just because they don't come or orgasm, this make high school boys a walking bomb because they're about to, excuse me, that doesn't make any sense.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, a lot of men believe this to be true. They believe that women don't have as much sexual agency as men do, or don't have as many, their sexual needs are not as strong or as powerful as men's. And that's bullshit. That's my favorite word, by the way. You're going to hear it a lot today.
Yes, please. Yes.
Yes, absolute bullshit. And, I want all the girls out there who are who are young and in relationships where their boyfriends are telling them, I need you to come here, right now. I need you to make me come or orgasm, because otherwise I'm going to be sick or I'm going to get blue balls.
Yes.
Wrong. It's not true.
Let
He's
them.
going to be perfectly fine. He's going to be perfectly fine. You don't have to give anyone anything if you're not in the mood. Full stop.
Yeah. And for married women, this is for you too. Yes, I can go for the next one. So, drum rolls, please. I love this one. It makes me laugh so much. Swallowing semen makes your skin glow. As if they are walking Sephora.
I mean, if this were true, the market would be filled with semen-filled
Yes,
moisturizers, right? I mean,
exactly.
there's plenty out there, and I'm sure
Exactly.
lots of men would make a lot of money from donating their sperms, surely, right? It would be the number
Exactly. Like,
one skin product in the world.
yeah, exactly. Can you believe it that this is one of the things that men actually believe that when they do ejaculate on women's faces, they are doing them a favor because they're making their skin glow.
It's one of those typical examples of, someone has a fantasy and they want to somehow make it about the other person. Like, yeah, you want this too because it's going to be so good for you.
Yeah, exactly. This is the actual thing. This is a myth that has been going on and on the internet for so long. People actually make TikTok videos. Women make TikTok videos speaking about how semen has made her skin better.
You're joking.
I swear. The thing is that if that's the case, then why dermatologists don't do any product using men's semen instead of retinol? If that's the case, like I'm 40 and I need retinol now. Maybe it's about time if that's true. But of course, men's semen has protein. Of course, that's what the amount of protein it has is equivalent to a peanut butter spoon. Does that make me do a facial with peanut butter?
Yes. And by the way, just to make it clear, we're not discussing whether women should spit or swallow.
No, not at
Completely
all.
up to you and your personal preferences, okay?
Of
This is not what
course.
this is about. This is about, be honest. If this
Just
is
say you
something
like
that you
it.
want it and you like it, brilliant. Say it. Be proud and,
Don't say
share
it's
it.
because it makes my skin glow.
Oh
No.
my God, we are going to be banned, Cinderella. I swear to God. Okay, for telling the truth, but here we are. This is what we're here for. All right, so far we've busted two myths. We're now on we're counting down, right? So now we are on myth number 7, I think.
7.
Okay, and we're going in a particular order, by the way. The biggest myth is right at the bottom. So
Yeah.
stay with us, because
Yes.
that one is going to blow your mind.
Yes.
So the next myth is orgasms are the goal of sex.
Oh my God. Yes. Yes. Men. I'm sorry to say this. Or actually, women as well. I know some women who would be like, what's the point of sex if we didn't orgasm or we didn't go there?
Yeah.
So Discuss.
Here's the thing, right? It's also very important to talk about the orgasm gap here, where a lot of the times in relationships, sex becomes a quest to help the man orgasm while completely ignoring the woman's need to orgasm. Not only that, but also, according to textbooks, 10% of women have never orgasmed. But the truth is, it's a lot more than that. We
Yeah,
know this.
I think so
We know
too.
this.
Yeah.
The amount of women we meet who talk about how they've never orgasmed ever in their lives, and I've said this before on a different podcast. If just 5% of men never orgasmed, the amount of money that would be funneled into
Research.
research to help these men achieve orgasm, forget cancer research, forget all that, it will all go there. But the fact is that the orgasm gap is a thing. We say this, saying that also, we acknowledge this, and the fact that so many people make sex about reaching a final goal of orgasm, and that if we don't reach it, therefore the sex must be crap or rubbish.
Yeah.
There's really lots of space for nuance here.
I have to say that there is another myth regarding this, that if women do not orgasm, then it's her fault. So the gap that you are referring to is sometimes, and actually a lot of times, is laying on women's inability to orgasm. Like, he orgasmed and she didn't, so it's your fault. So you might not be in the mood or not attuned to your body or not here, so it's your fault. Why you didn't do that instead of
Brilliant.
doing
Which
something.
proves exactly the point, which is sex isn't about orgasm. Sex is about intimacy, connection, soul deep connection, right? Vulnerability, openness, connection. These are the things that even as far back as the ancient Egyptians, the ancient Indians, all of them, they all talked about sex as not an activity that we do to release stress or just to procreate and have babies. No, it is
A
a
ritual.
portal, a portal you enter to be with and commune with the person, the soul that you are with. You're looking at them on a soul deep level, not just on a physical level, right? We've kind of split between the physical and the spiritual for
But
too long.
But I have to say something here. I'll now be the devil's advocate in that sense, that even if sex is casual, it can be meaningful, it can be spiritual, it can be connecting, and all of these things.
I agree.
So you can celebrate a connection with sex as long as both of you are on the same page and all of that. Just know exactly what you're doing. It's a dance, so dance together.
Yes, absolutely. I completely agree. However, what we're seeing and what we're hearing, and you will validate this with me as well, which is a lot of the sexual dysfunctions that we deal with, much of them are due to the fact that that connection that we're talking about doesn't happen.
Mm,
Women and men equally, they
mm,
enter into relationships and not fully there.
mhm.
Maybe just physically there, maybe just mentally, maybe just emotionally, but the whole package isn't there.
Yeah.
And when the whole package is not there, of course, orgasm will be the end goal,
Definitely.
right? In order for orgasm to stop becoming the main goal of a relationship or an intimate act, there has to be more meaning to it.
Yeah.
There has to be more connection. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
You can say more. I can see that there is a room for more.
I have to control myself. We all know
So
now.
we reached number 6.
Mm-hmm.
So I have one that's it's very light in a way, that men can't fake orgasm.
That's not true.
Not true at all. A study has shown in 2014 that 25% of men in that study have at least faked orgasm once.
And women might wonder how,
Yeah.
right? You don't need to worry about how. I mean, think about it, women, ladies. You fake orgasms all the time. And
Yeah.
honestly, when you think about it, you think, how on earth did you believe that? Right?
If men can fake an interest in bad date, they can fake an interest in orgasm. So definitely they can.
There is no way of checking whose fluid is whose.
Yes, especially if there is no condom or anything, he might just be doing all the sounds and the movement that would elate the fact that there is fakeness.
Right.
Which again goes back to the idea that men and women do fake orgasm because there is no honesty.
Exactly. And also,
Because they
go on, sorry.
and because they know that this would end when they orgasm. So might as well just fake it because I have laundry, I need to sleep, I have work tomorrow, or I'm just not in the mood.
And this is, it goes back to, ties in very neatly with the previous myth.
Mm-hmm.
If the goal is orgasm and therefore there's nothing else connecting you really except for that orgasm, that the pursuit of the orgasm, it becomes a chore. It becomes
Mm-hmm.
labor. You know, one of you is going to get bored. One of you is going to want it over and done with quickly, you know, because it's not about connection anymore. It's just like, I have better things to do, and looking at the
Yeah.
time, damn it. And therefore, one of you is going to fake it.
Sex is more than penetration. Sex is more than orgasm.
Absolutely. Okay. So, next one. I think
Why?
men are going to love this one. Bigger is always better.
Yeah. I. Well, is it? I can understand why from the biological side. It's not, but yeah, I think some women might disagree with the fact that it's a myth.
Some women would disagree for sure. But also, I think a lot of women think that bigger is better.
True, true.
Right, when actual fact, when they if and when they do experiment, they realize, oh, it's not that better.
Yeah,
And it's really not about the size. Seriously, it's not about the size. It's really about the connection. It's about the comfort, the safety. All of these things definitely supersede
definitely.
size.
The thing
Right.
is that there is a saying about it that it's not about the size of the boat; it's about the motion in the ocean,
Oh, I
and
like that.
that gives you that sense of yes, it's about that connection and that passion before penetration, that passion before actually the episode of the sexual encounter that takes place. Then again, the idea that men take a lot of pride in their size, which show that there is a lot of shame for the people that might not be as big as they are seeing in porn or
Yeah,
are hearing from their friends and so on and so forth. So we go back to shame again. We go back
absolutely.
to shame again.
Exactly. And also a couple of things came up when you were saying that. The first one, I think there is a bit of a culture among men where they
Mm.
talk about the size of their
Mm.
tool, right?
Yes.
And
Since they're
therefore,
young.
yes, it becomes like the kind of thing that they boast about
Mm.
among other men, knowingly or unknowingly to them, someone who sees himself. And by the way, it's definitely a self-perception element to it. It's like there could be nothing wrong with your size, and yet you think that there is, and therefore you move like there is. You
Yes.
move from a place of insecurity as opposed to confidence and I don't
Yes.
know, mastery, right?
Yes.
And therefore the problem isn't the size, but how insecure you feel about the size.
And the
And the
mind.
other thing that we really have to talk about is porn.
Mm-hmm.
How
Right.
unrealistic, completely unrealistic. Honestly, guys, some of these things women see in porn, it scares them. It scares the shit out of us. No, thank you, because porn is not designed for women. It's designed by
That
men for
again.
men.
Yes. That again. That
It's
goes
very
back to
unrealistic. Also, a lot of these men actually take, like, what is it that they take, the stuff that are the size enhancers and performance enhancers,
yeah. Okay.
some seriously dangerous ones
And
that
some
create.
actually do a lot of operations in order to elongate the size of their tool.
Yeah,
And this brings me to, so, you know, when you were talking about how it's in the mindset, it sometimes we set ourselves up for failure. And we might think in that sense that, okay, so it's small and I'll have to be ashamed of it and I start acting like it to the point that in our culture and in our media. One of the songs is called Big D Energy, that someone is acting with the confidence of having a big D. So basically, again, it goes back to the mindset.
Absolutely. I'm just trying to think of an expression for the big V, except we don't need a big V. What would it be?
If anything, I think that it's the minstrel V. A V that minster.
Queen V.
Queen V.
Queen V. Oh, yeah, that's a. Let it make it trend, people. Make it trend. Queen V. Queen V energy.
Queen V energy. I'm not sure what the like why women. We do have this, by the way, for women. We
Do
do
we?
have, in the sense of yes, we have it that usually again men believe that vaginas and or this area when it's pink then it's beautiful and it looks like the porn stars again. So it's
Wow.
pink. So when it's pink, that's the color that they want. If it's a little brownish or anything else, then that's not that's not
That's
sexy.
insane. This I haven't heard this before, but that is insane.
Mhm.
And it also explains why a lot of women like to bleach down there.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
That's so dangerous. You
Mm.
know, just like men, women also come in all shapes and sizes and textures and colors. And honestly, it's all beautiful and it's all perfect exactly the way it is. And we should absolutely be so proud of our V's, our Queen V's. You know,
Right.
name her your Queen V and love every part of her. And the same goes for men, guys. It's the way we're created and designed is unique to us and it's beautiful. We just the more you love and accept it and learn to be with it and learn how to use it,
Yeah.
the more you're going to love it, you know? And honestly, it's absolutely 100% a mindset thing. If you're
Yes.
100% secure about your body, there's nothing anyone can say to you that's going to make you feel like there's anything wrong with you. In fact, it'll be
And
something not right about them.
And I would that's exactly what I was gonna say, that if that happened in front of you and you found a group of men that are talking about being a grower or a shower, just shut them down. Shut them down. Don't let that locker talk actually get to you or get to someone who's sitting there minding their own business and bam, just get slammed by a couple of people that are so insecure or think that their tool is the best thing about them. So they make sure to show off.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, Cindy. Here's a fact. I have never met a man who is secure and a decent size, don't like without me even checking. But those men who are comfortable with their size and secure about it, no matter what the size is, they are the sexiest,
That's true.
right? Their magnetism is unparalleled,
That's
and they're
true.
so attractive and so sexy. It's just the way they carry themselves,
Yeah.
regardless of what size they are. You know, and we meet these men all the time, right? And it has nothing to do with the size at all.
I'll tell you what. Again, it's engraved in men's and women's mind. Like in Samantha from Sex and the City, she fell in love with a man so deeply. He was the first man to fall in love
Mr.
with.
Big.
But that's scary. So Samantha is the sex goddess in here,
Oh, sorry.
and
I've never seen it, by the way.
oh my god,
Scandalous. I know. I know.
it's
I don't
beautiful.
know. I mean, make it trend and then I'll watch it.
Samantha is the goat. So she was with someone, and she finally were in bed with him, and then she discovered about his size, and she started crying, and this is the reason why she broke up with him. Now, put in mind that this is on TV. It has
Mhm.
been on screen for I don't know how many years, and people are watching and watching and watching. Men and women are watching this.
Mm. I'm grateful I never watched it, actually. Yeah.
It's I
It
think
sounds like
it's
the wrong kind of messaging, for sure.
yeah, definitely, definitely. And this is why it's all in the mindset.
Mm.
Believe in yourself, have confidence in your abilities and in your compassion and in your relation. And if you
Absolutely.
are facing something like this, be open with your partner and you would be surprised. You might be definitely
Absolutely.
surprised.
Yeah. And stop watching porn. It's not realistic. It's not real. All
And
right.
if you're gonna watch porn, there are websites that are actually producing
Yeah.
very healthy kind of for that is made for men and women by men and women. So this
Mm.
is something if you want to do it, although just go with your imagination, much better, but this is a conversation for another time. So now
Yes.
we reached four.
Okay. Yep.
Yes.
Give it
So
to me.
I like this one because it has a lot of layers and other ones that we can bust, which says you cannot get pregnant standing up.
What?
Yeah.
You can't get pregnant standing up?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure there's a lot of women out there right now laughing so much
Yeah,
because
because
they did get pregnant standing up. I'm like, somebody's
debunking is
like,
not birth control.
the only. Exactly.
Can you believe it? The thing is that when we're talking about biology, semen once it gets into the body and the vagina, it goes up automatically. It starts its way. They are amazing swimmers, and they go wherever they are. They don't need gravity to put them
That's
in.
true.
And
This I think is the law of gravity that confuses people. It's like everything has to go down. Yeah, but we've also got airplanes that defy gravity. By the way,
this is the thing. Like I remember when a friend wanted to get pregnant, she would lay with her legs up on the wall so that all the semen would like okay if that works for you, but biology it's
yes.
not.
I mean, there is something to be said about being intentional about conceiving and being in the energy of
Oh,
I'm
I want
sitting.
it all and all of that. Yes.
Yes, I'm. I'm lying down and with my legs lifted, and I'm just really being with and present with the idea of and visualizing
Mm-hmm.
the semen racing up there and finding the egg and creating a little baby.
Intentionally.
Intentionally.
Yes.
That's great. That's brilliant. Beautiful. I'd like to think it works. Absolutely. I do believe it works, in fact. However, don't do it standing up and then think that you are safe from getting pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
The only way you could be safe from getting pregnant is by using contraception.
Yes, please. And
Right.
not to don't let him wear two condoms because then they will rub off one another and break one another. So just one is enough.
That's a very good tip. Thank you for that. All right. Ready for the next one?
Yalla.
Okay. This is a very important one. There's a lot of shame around this one, as you well know.
Mm.
Kink and fantasies mean something is wrong with you.
Yes. Oof.
Yes.
A lot of shame. It's very heavy.
It's so there's so much to this and yet nothing at all, I feel. Like these are everyone has sexual preferences, by the way. Even if you don't subscribe to the whole kink and fetish and BDSM
Yeah.
and all of that stuff, you still have fantasies. You still have urges. And whether you're aware of them or not, they are working through you and they are showing up in the bedroom with your partner. It's in the way you move, in the way you your favorite position, what turns you on, what you need before and after and during. All of that is categorized under kink and fetish and BDSM. It's an entire spectrum, absolutely entire spectrum. And I would even argue that even vanilla, what we call vanilla sex, it's not entirely vanilla.
So this actually, when I was studying, we were taught by an amazing teacher, and she told us anything above missionary is vanilla. Anything above a regular kiss on the lip is not vanilla. This is
I see.
vanilla is the only missionary and kiss on the lip, and that's it. Anything else is actually not vanilla.
I would
So
argue that even missionary is kink, some kind of
it
kink and
can
fetish.
get
I'll
kinky.
tell you why. Everything is about sex except for it's about.
Power.
And what's kink and fetish and BDSM about?
It's about power
It's
as well.
power interplay. It's how you play with power, right? So I would argue that everything that involves, so sex is basically like your teacher said, anything that goes beyond a kiss.
Yes.
That some people don't realize this. Their definition of sex is so narrow. It has to involve getting naked and being in the bed. No, it
Mm.
doesn't.
Yeah,
Sex can
totally.
can start like locking eyes in a room
Mhm.
full of people.
Definitely.
Sex is a
Definitely.
play. It's an interplay. It's playfulness, right?
Right.
It's the interplay of that sexual energy between you. That can happen anywhere and any time.
So this is the thing. If we're going to be talking about sexual energy and chemistry in there, when people do have that sexual chemistry and energy going on in a room full of people, they don't realize that they are building the dance that they're going to be dancing. That you don't just open the door of the bedroom and do it, and that is sex.
Thank
That
you, ma'am.
is, yeah, it's, I feel like it's sex with no breath. Unless you both of you are doing this a quickie, and that's a cool thing, but every time
But it's still
it's
a
without.
dance. It's still a dance. You don't just suddenly find yourself in a bedroom with someone
Yeah.
and bam, bam, thank you, ma'am, kind of situation.
Wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the expression. You know, I don't know. I feel like if that is the case and that is the scenario that you're describing, then there's something really not right about that kind of connection. You know, it's going to hurt someone in the end, in some way. But yes, expand your understanding of what sex is, and that will bring open room for and space for so much more fun, you know, because sex for one night could literally be you locking eyes for 5 minutes and you really feel it.
Yes. And sex can be you at work and him at work, and both of you are actually sexting and enjoying it.
Exactly. Exactly. It's, you know, and maybe this is a good time to say it clearly. The orgasm and the excitement and all of that, it happens in the mind. It
Mm.
doesn't happen in the body first. It happens in the mind first. And then the body reacts and reverberates those waves, those energetic waves that have come from the mind, from the brain, you know? Anyway,
And
we'll definitely have another, we definitely need another full episode about kink and fantasies and
oh,
fetishes.
definitely.
I
I
feel
don't think
like,
it's just going to be one episode. I think
no.
it's going
I
to be
feel that we
series.
need, because it's so linked to shame, we need to free people from the shame of not only desiring kink and fetish and so on, but even talking about it. I've seen and witnessed too many relationships fall apart, and men and women, being too afraid to describe to their partners or husbands what they really want in case they shame them. So
Yeah.
what happens is, in a lot of cases where this person really craves kink or BDSM or fetishes, they go outside of the relationship to act it out.
Yeah.
Because it's I get it. There's an element or a dimension of alluring seduction and so on. But again, it goes back to this whole Madonna whore complex that we talked about in the first episode.
Yeah.
But I feel that consensual, communicative kink and BDSM is absolutely possible in all relationships. It could be so much fun. Could be invigorating. Could be an adventure. It could be a whole other dimension and portal that you open up for yourselves in the relationship. So yeah, we'll talk more about
And
it.
and this just to remind everyone that a lot of people, when they express their interest in anything other than missionary or vanilla sex, they are accused of, how did you learn about this? And as if this is an interrogation instead of actual communication where everyone say this words.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of shame around it and a lot of fear around it as well.
And that question specifically stems from complete insecurity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like, how do you learn about this? I didn't teach you this.
I
You're
didn't
not,
teach you this.
we will talk about how it's women's role to initiate men in the bedroom, guys. Right? It's not the other way around. We've been doing it the other way around for too long, and the verdict is a lot of unhappy people out there.
Yeah, it didn't take us so far.
It's time to trust women. And women's knowledge comes from way, way bigger resources than porn or even previous experiences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I really have to control myself this session, as you can see, this episode. All right, what's the next one?
I have one.
Tell me.
So there is this thing that's going around that's saying drinking Mountain Dew shrinks your balls.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah. See?
Because
I told you I'm gonna surprise you.
what?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know the
It's
specifics of Mountain Dew content and ingredients to verify this.
the thing is that the person's teeth will get more yellow and get yellow first more before anything happens to any part of their body.
Energy drinks in general are really bad for you,
Yeah, of course,
right?
of
I mean,
course.
we're not verifying this myth at all, this rumor rather than myth. Energy drinks in general are really, your body's not built for that kind of fake energy boosting stuff. And it's really, actually, is very harmful to you in all the ways. Forget about the whole ball shrinking thing. In general, energy drinks, the verdict is just don't drink it, honestly, regardless of the side
Again,
effect.
don't drink it out of respecting the vessel that you have and all the beautiful things. Just don't worry, your balls will survive if you had Mountain Dew can.
Yeah. And I think it's more to do with hydration and dehydration. But yeah, anyway, that was.
Again, think about it from the patriarchal system. If it was the case, a Mountain Dew would not be existing. So,
I mean, the whole, I don't know, I feel that this whole energy drink thing is new. It wasn't there when I was younger. And also the research shows there's so much danger to it. But again, it's not the place for it to talk about it here. Do your research. Understand that energy drinks are just an
Mountain
unnatural
Dew
way
is
of
not an
boosting.
energy drink. It's a
It is.
soda.
It is. Here it
It's a
is.
soda. It's a soda drink.
In
Mountain Dew is
England,
soda.
it's classified as an energy drink.
Wow, really?
Really.
No,
I
everywhere
promise
else.
you.
is,
Yeah.
gross.
Well, again, who's classifying these stuff?
Yeah,
Right?
of course.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. The next one.
The next one. We're
The
down
next
to two
one.
now.
Are we? I've lost
Yes.
count. So we've got two
Yeah.
left.
Yes.
One from me and one from you.
No, no,
Okay.
no. You're gonna go with if you want, you can go with the two. I know that the first one or the last one.
The last one I want to talk about, right?
Yes, I
So
know.
I'll say one now and then you go next and then I'll say the last one. Is that cool?
Okay.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
So here, this is very important, I feel. Women take longer than men to orgasm because they're less sexual.
That's the whole thing because they're less sexual.
Yeah, because they're
Hmm.
less sexual. So they're not. So does that mean that men orgasm quickly because they're more sexual?
Mm,
Does that make sense? I mean,
of course.
correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of men complain when they feel that they come too quick, they hate it, right?
Yes.
So why is it that when women don't come quick, then there's something wrong with them?
That's a very good point. But I think it goes back to her not orgasming quickly, then that would require him to actually do something about it. So,
That too. That too. Although I'm an advocate of women owning their orgasm and their sexual experiences for sure, but obviously it takes two to tango,
exactly.
and it's a deeper conversation than the one we're having right now. Okay,
Exactly.
just so that we don't misunderstand what we're talking about. However, women who take longer to orgasm, and by the way, again, what I really dislike about these myths is how they are so absolute. Like all men this or all women that. Like some women actually orgasm very quickly and they orgasm multiple times during one sex session, right? There isn't in Arabic معلوش عداد يعني.
Oh, this is the no. There is men
By
count.
who? But
Men
here's the thing.
count, and they ask her, "How many times did you orgasm?" Because they take pride in it. So when she doesn't orgasm, this means that there's something wrong with him, which is I tried my level best and it's on you. So you see how women not orgasming quickly is about men's ability or
How
masculinity.
they take it personally, like what it says
Exactly.
about them, right?
Yeah.
Oh, guys. It's, first of all, sex, you need to put the ego outside the bedroom. It ruins everything truly, because it's for women. It's her pleasure is not about you. Her pleasure is about her.
Oh,
Just as your
what do
pleasure is
you
about you.
mean? What do you mean?
I
What do you
mean,
mean women's pleasure is about themselves?
I know,
This
right?
is
The
so
concept.
foreign.
Dear Lord, where do I even start? If you're in a situation where you feel that you're not able to please a woman, or that she's taking too long, in your perspective, taking too long to orgasm, then communicate delicately and openly and vulnerably, and make it about her. Let your concern be not that it's not about your performance. Make your concern be that you want her to have fun, you want her to enjoy herself and experience pleasure. And what can you do to better her experience?
The thing is
That
that
will take you a way longer way than there's something wrong with you. Why aren't you orgasming?
the thing is that I know of women who hold their orgasm on purpose to
Hmm,
elongate their pleasure.
exactly.
And this is won't be something that you would know unless you actually ask, unless you actually talk about it. So
Absolutely. And here's the fun fact: women's orgasm are just as mysterious to women as it is to men, right? And also, for each woman, she will say to you she's never had two orgasms that are the same. There's so many variables, and none of them should have any impact on your ego or your sense of self or your virility or anything like that, you know? So,
I
yeah,
think it goes back to the dance, and every dancer should know how their partner like to dance and the body of their partner, because guess what? It's totally different than your previous partner. And not because there is some sort of a move that you do with someone, it would work with the other. And if it didn't, then the fault is on them. It basically
exactly.
means that you need to spend more time with that person to understand how they enjoy this.
What's their erotic signature?
Yes.
Everyone has an erotic signature. Everyone, right? And like an energy map, like an erotic map on their body, which is linked directly to their soul imprint, right? Spend time getting to know each other's erotic signatures, erotic maps. That takes time. And that's why we're saying sex is about a lot more than just physical connection.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Ay, ay, ay.
Yeah, indeed. We need a lot
Mhm.
more of these episodes, by the way.
We can have
So
a
many
couple of
myths.
these.
We'll have one for each season. If you
Yes.
guys want it, you tell us what you want, because
You can tell us the myth that you have heard, or the urban legend that you've heard about sex, and
yeah,
we'll do the homework for you. So,
exactly. You could hear it from
so
the
the one that I have is women's vagina gets loose from too much sex.
what's too much sex?
Exactly.
What does that look like? Do you mean too much sex in general, or too much sex with other men or with other people? Where's this coming from? What's too
See,
much sex?
when I hear this one, it reminds me of the turtleneck, the neck of the turtleneck. Like it gets loose from all the wearing. What the hell are you guys talking about? It's a muscle. It's a freaking muscle.
Exactly, and it goes right back where where it started. It's like what you said earlier. What was the myth you said earlier? It's linked to it. Women get wider down there because they're having too much
Yes,
sex. Guys, it's a muscle.
it's a
It goes
muscle.
back. And there's Kegel exercises. They're really good for helping you tighten the
Definitely.
muscles down there, right? Um,
So this is the thing that this sport, I can't remember in English what the sport mean. The pelvic floor
yeah,
is actually that all
agreeing.
any exercises or anything that you do with the pelvic floor, it's not just for women. You can do those exercises
Men
anywhere,
and women.
anytime, men
Absolutely, yeah.
and women, and this is very good for you.
You could do it
So
while sitting in your office.
yes,
Just pull up those muscles and release, pull and release. It's really good for
yes,
you for so many reasons, not just sexually.
exactly. It's very good for your urinary tract, for a lot of things that holds all the organs down there. And if basically sex is loosening the vagina, then what does the tampon do? Because does it screw it? What does the tampon do then? Because it's very small. So does it make it smaller
Exactly.
then? Is
Yeah.
it the lock? Is it the
Again with
lock?
the shaming. Again with the shaming.
Yes,
And it's,
definitely.
and it's yeah, when you read into it, you see just how much goes into trying to control women's bodies. Don't have sex because this will happen, this will happen, this will happen.
You will get too loose. You will, and the person afterwards will know there is an imprint in your vagina, and men know when you have sex with other men.
Which brings me to the next and final myth for this
Oh,
episode.
yes.
The myth that we have been counting down for. This is the myth I want to release out in the ether, the world, for
This full
every
moon.
this full moon in Leo, for every girl and every woman to know. Because I want you to be sovereign in your body. No one can control you or your body. Your moral values, your core principles, etc., these are untouchable. What you decide to do with this truth is completely up to you. That's not the point of what we're talking about here. I'm not trying to say, everyone go out and have sex freely. No. Actually, from the very beginning, if you're listening carefully, you'll know how we take this. This is about sacred, bringing back the sacred into sex. But how can we bring back the sacred if we don't understand the sultry?
Yeah.
Right? And this myth, Cinderella, can I have a drum roll, please? The hymen is a seal that breaks when you lose your virginity.
Dun, dun, dun.
And I call bullshit.
Oh my God.
You know
Oh my
why?
God.
Because it's not a seal and it has nothing to do with your sexual experiences. It doesn't prove anything. It doesn't prove that you've had sex before, you haven't had sex before, right? It has nothing to do with it. And it's important to also to bring some historical context into when did this start? When did this myth start? And believe it or not, all right, contrary to common belief, it did not start in the Muslim or the Islamic world or the Arabic culture. In fact,
Really?
absolutely not. In fact, historically speaking, Arabic culture enjoyed a very high level of healthy, healthy attitude towards eroticism and sexuality. It actually began with the Christian Crusades,
Wow.
with during medieval times in Europe, and the
Yeah.
church, the Protestant church took over, and they declared that, they had signs on churches like dogs and women not allowed. A war against women really declared itself in Europe. Interesting, that, isn't it?
The amount of murder that occurred to women across the ages and across time in a lot of countries for not having the hymen intact because of the period coming out or because of anything at all is just phenomenal.
The number of girls, women, young women who got killed,
Yes.
honor killings across the world. And by the way, this is not something specific to a certain culture. It's everywhere, everywhere. Propaganda will make you think that it's because this, third world country or whatever. No, I've seen cases that happened in the States, in the United States, from white people, right? And let's just also be clear why this is a myth. Hymens, it's a membrane, right? It's blood cells that they don't block anything. They have different structures for every woman. Very few women bleed when they're having sex for the first time. Very few. And it doesn't mean that she doesn't have a hymen. The hymen is
Can
basically
be elastic. So,
that, exactly. It can be elastic, could be non-existent, aslan. Okay. And actually, a lot of the blood that comes out has nothing to do with the rupture in this membrane. It's more, the penis hurts the womb of the wall of the vagina, and therefore it's bleeding.
yeah.
So it's actually wrong maneuvering rather than breaking a seal. Can you just imagine this? Treating the woman's vagina like it's some kind of opening, like a red ribbon, and you come in and cut it. Like,
Yes.
what the hell?
Like a new mall. Shop.
Yes, we begin by opening this and declaring it ours. We put a flag. We erect a
No.
flag.
I remember when I was young, we had this rumor going around that there is this girl who lost her virginity riding a bike, and her family needed to take her to a doctor, where the doctor had to write her a report that he examined her and she's a virgin, that she lost her virginity to the bike and not to a man. And another one because of the bum gun.
Because of the what?
Bum gun.
Wow.
Yes.
There's a special place in hell, in my perspective, in my view. There's a special place in hell for those who claim to do these surgeries, these hymen rectifying surgeries, and the doctors who actually, follow that drum, beat that drum. In fact, it tells me how ignorant they are, because they haven't actually looked into the science, and how manipulative they are. And also, I get that people are naive around these things, but you're supposedly an expert. You know, or you
Yes,
should know.
and some women, especially in our country, need it before marriage or else they will get killed. So doctors who do that, some of them might be benefiting out of it and some of them might be actually saving lives doing it because of how brutal honorary killing is in our region as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that with that, people are getting better at understanding the truth from the myths, because nothing that we have said makes sex less of a sacred venture between people.
Mhm.
It just means that we really seriously need to review these beliefs that we have, because you know even talking about politics, do you remember during the Egyptian revolution how many women were arrested and then had virginity checks,
Yes, yes. It's all
right, as if
control.
that was somehow going to invalidate what they were protesting against?
So apparently, so I asked this question once, and why do you do that? And they said because we wanted to take it on report and on record that they are virgins or not virgins. So if they went outside when they are released, they cannot claim that they've been raped.
No, but they can claim that they've been sexually
Of
abused
course,
through
of
this
course.
checking.
Does that mean if the girl or the woman is not virgin, she is allowed to do whatever she wants because she can go outside and say, "Yeah, I'm not a virgin." What do you mean? What do you mean? Make it make sense. What do you mean?
Exactly. Make it make sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we are here to make sense of it all, Cinderella.
Yeah.
That's the intention. So if you've got any questions from today's episode, you know where to email us, sultryandsacred@gmail.com. And if you are curious about your own erotic signature, you are welcome to go on my website, www.writinthestars.com, and find the part that says erotic signature. I'll put the link on
Yes.
this episode. Yeah, find out what your erotic signature is and release the shame, any shame you may have around your sexuality and your eroticism and so on. And I hope and I pray that this episode has in some way helped you release any shame, any misunderstandings, any misconceptions around sex. And if you have any more myths that you want busting, please write to us. We're more
Yes,
than
please.
happy to. If we're not going to discuss it in a recording, then we'll definitely email you back and let you know what the answer
Or
is.
on our Instagram. So one of the things that we might be addressing this or any question that you have that you can send us is through our Instagram page as well. And I just want to say that with this new full moon, with the full moon that we're currently having, I hope you release a lot of the shame that you're holding on to. I hope wherever you're listening, whenever you're listening, I hope that this has cleansed some of the fears that you might be having or some of the bad memories that you might have experienced growing up or growing old. So I hope you love every part of you and cherish it. Everything is working in your favor. Every part of your body is trying to be the best that they can for you. So appreciate the vessel and don't let people who are running from fear actually control how you think about your body or other people's bodies as well.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. And whether we made you laugh or cringe or blush, subscribe, leave us feedback,
Yes,
spread the
please.
word,
Yes, please.
right? Send it to all the people you love. who you know need this conversation. They need the sex talk, the real sex talk.
Yes.
And we'll see
And
you next time.
till then, have sultry and sacred life.